Hello everybody, George12 back here again with another video, and I'm here to give you my official review for the first X-Men Apocalypse trailer. Yes, 20th Century Fox has officially dropped the trailer today, and I'm here to give you my official 2 cents breakdown, analysis, all that kind of jazz in this video, so let's get ready for this shit, because it looks like shit is about to go down. Now, first things first. Is this the trailer that we got at San Diego Comic-Con? Because for those of you who don't remember or recall, back when Comic-Con was happening this year, I did review all the trailers that came out. I reviewed the BVS one, the Suicide Squad, the Deadpool one, and the X-Men Apocalypse one. The only exception that I did not really review, which was the Fantastic Four one, well, looking back in retrospect, you can see why. But that being said, the X-Men Apocalypse trailer, or first look trailer, as they like to call it, was really good. It was pretty decent. I know a lot of people had mixed reactions from it because of the look of Apocalypse and how the CGI wasn't perfected. They were still filming at the time, so granted, everything's not going to look as perfect as it does now when they're getting ready to release this thing next year, if I'm not mistaken. But at the end of the day, it was still a pretty decent trailer. I liked it. Apocalypse, or as the internet has dubbed him, Ivan Ooze. Obviously, a lot of people did not like that. A lot of people didn't care for it. A lot of people hated the look of Oscar Isaac's Apocalypse, hence the dub Ivan Ooze. However, at the end of the day, I gave it the benefit of the doubt. The EW coverage was pretty decent. Overall, I gave it a solid score. I really liked the stuff that came out from X-Men Apocalypse at the time. Now that we have the official trailer, which is basically the Comic-Con trailer with some extras, essentially, we get a new perspective at Apocalypse himself. Now, overall, it starts off the same way as the San Diego Comic-Con. And once again, spoilers if you haven't seen the trailer, please go check it out if you haven't done so already. But that being said, the trailer overall starts the same way as the Comic-Con one. We have Sansa Stark, aka the new Jean Grey, if you will, essentially having these visions of destruction, the death of the mutants, basically Apocalypse coming. And then, of course, we get to see, Charles Xavier come back, James McAvoy talking to Sansa Stark in his new Don Johnson look, which I'm really appreciating there. I mean, I'm just saying, nice throwback to Miami Vice. But moving off of that, we get to see really the nice mythology behind the Four Horsemen and Apocalypse. James McAvoy's character is researching Apocalypse. He's trying to understand the first ever mutant in existence. And of course, at the same time, you have Apocalypse trying to gather his Four Horsemen. We get to some really nice shots of the introductions to old characters and new characters like, of course, Jezebel, Nightcrawler, the new Scott Summers, stuff like that. Really cool stuff there. But of course, the creme de la creme of this trailer is Apocalypse going to work. Now, granted, everyone wants to shit on the look of Apocalypse in this movie, but the one silver lining in the cinematic Apocalypse is the guy who's actually performing Apocalypse, which is Oscar Isaacs. Oscar Isaacs has really proven himself, let alone this year, this year alone, if you will. He has freaking proved himself to be a solid actor, and he is killing it in this trailer. His speeches about how he's come to save us, how he's come to save his mutant, brothers and sisters, sons and daughters, if you will. He's here to basically redeem and save the world from itself, or rather, I should say, the mutant world, if you will. And of course, he gathers his new Four Horsemen, which will consist of various characters like Archangel, the new freaking Mohawk Storm, if you will. And of course, Magneto joins in because he's an asshole, so of course he has to be somewhere in there being a douche. And then of course, Team Xavier has to take on Team Apocalypse. He's taking shit down. There is a lot of crazy stuff going down in this trailer. Really interesting, cool stuff. We get some really nice shots of of course, Jennifer Lawrence as Mystique, which of course really stands out in this trailer, which I was really surprised by. I mean, granted, Jennifer Lawrence is one of the biggest stars out right now. She is the biggest and highest paid actress of the decade, if you will, when it comes to female actresses. And I understand that, but if there's one thing that kind of bothers me when looking back in this trailer is the exposure of Jennifer Lawrence in this movie. I mean, this movie is about X-Men versus Apocalypse. why does this feel kind of like a Mystique movie again? Like, that's kind of like what they did with Days of Future Past, where they try to make it less about Days of Future Past, the storyline, and more or less about Jennifer Lawrence's Mystique. Now, now, I'm not saying that I'm bashing her as an actress or the character alone. It's just that looking at it in retrospect, in the big scheme of things, Mystique isn't really the greatest or the biggest character. That's my personal subjective opinion, but that's just something that kind of I'm nitpicking at the point. But overall, moving on from there, we get some really nice shots of, Scott Summers using his powers. We get to see Quicksilver again, which I can't wait to see again, seeing as how, I know a lot of people like to debate this, but in my personal opinion, Quicksilver was the best part of Days of Future Past, and personally the definitive Quicksilver cinematically. But at the end of the day, the trailer ends with Apocalypse pretty much destroying all of Earth, as it seems, and of course, we have Xavier becoming bald. And that's pretty much the end of this trailer. Essentially, it begins and ends the same way the Comic-Con trailer came out. Now, that's the big thing that also kind of bothers me, which is, I understand it was a first look trailer, there was not a lot of things perfected, whether it be the special effects, the CGI, various kind of sequences, color correction, sound, sequences that they haven't finished shooting. I can understand that, but, the thing that's weird is that this still has the same opening and ending, pretty much the same story points of the first trailer. Why didn't you release this sooner? That's kind of like the weird thing that's kind of has me scratching in my head, which is, if, like looking in the terms of this, the Deadpool trailer. The Deadpool trailer is basically the same trailer we got, especially if you saw the Red Band trailer. It's essentially the same thing we got at Comic-Con. But the reason they showed that so early is because of how much people love the Deadpool trailer at Comic-Con. I mean, you go out and check everybody who went to San Diego Comic-Con, it'll be a 50-50 split of people who either love the living shit out BVS trailer at Comic-Con, which was, at least in my opinion, still the definitive best trailer of the year, my personal subjective opinion. But others would say the best trailer that came out of this year's Comic-Con was that Deadpool trailer. It was magnificent. It got a standing ovation. They showed it multiple times. It was crazy. It was Deadpool mania over there. So they released it early. They released it again like 2 weeks later or something like that. And we got it. We got a great teaser for it. We got a green band trailer, a red band trailer, a whole bunch of posters and promotional shit that Ryan Reynolds does probably on his free time. But then the X-Men Apocalypse trailer, we got nothing for it. And now we've, at the tail end of 2015, we're finally getting the first trailer. I don't know, it just feels a little iffy to me. I'm not saying that has any effect on the trailer, it just feels like, if you could do the same thing with Deadpool, why couldn't you do the same thing with X-Men Apocalypse? Just my personal opinion, that's where I'm coming from. But at the end of the day, it's still very much the same kind of trailer. The only difference is that they obviously showed less of Apocalypse's face. They kind of have him more or less like towering everybody. Hell, there's even a sequence where he grows in size and starts destroying freaking Xavier. So you can tell that they really heard a lot of the feedback from fans about the look of Apocalypse. So for this trailer, the first one, as they're calling it, they really wanted to show less of Apocalypse's actual visual face and more about the towering nature and power and presence of Apocalypse, less on the face. So, on that aspect alone, I think they accomplished a great job at showing Apocalypse. He looks awesome, he freaking kills it. They definitely did some differences from the first trailer to here. When it comes to the look of Apocalypse, I don't know, maybe it was color correction, maybe it was perspective, maybe it was camera angles, I don't know. A lot of people like to debate about this. I don't really want to. All I can say, Apocalypse was freaking awesome in this trailer. Everybody else also freaking upped up their game. They really look cool. James McAvoy finally is bald, which is freaking cool. We already knew that was coming, so there's no real shocker or spoiler there. Checking out Magneto's power, Storm's power, Archangel's powers, really freaking cool, really epic. The CGI, it looks a little too, like, iffy to me, like, when it came to those sequences, but overall, it still was pretty awesome, and, the opening with Sansa Stark just makes you think. It's like, what the hell is going to go down? And also the big thing that kind of towers over this trailer that felt very different from other trailers, and not to mention the rest of the X-Men universe trailers, or at least the movies, cinematically, is that this felt like, and I don't know if anybody has pointed it out yet, but doesn't this trailer, this official X-Men Apocalypse trailer, feel a lot like Akira? Like, look at the movie Akira, or not, like, look at the trailers alone to Akira. Doesn't this feel like Bryan Singer or whoever was editing this trailer was like, we want to show the destruction of the world. This is the end of an era, the end of the world. This is the trailer to do it. Even the music kind of felt like that. It felt like just the sounds of Akira destroying Neo Tokyo and stuff like that. It just felt like that. It sounded like that. I don't know if anybody has really noticed that, but it just felt like Akira X-Men Apocalypse version. It felt like X-Men Apocalypse is going to be like the Akira of the X-Men universe cinematically. So if that's true, and if Apocalypse seems like it's going to be the destruction of the X-Men universe as we know it now, then I'm all for this movie. I can't wait to see this movie. It looks great. Bryan Singer's back to fucking kill it. Everyone looks awesome. My only, gripe about the trailer alone, which I feel like is going to be a major aspect about the movie, is that I'm not really big on, I guess, Mystique having such a great role. And it's kind of weird how Mystique is also, like, once again, I kind of bitched about it in the beginning of the trailer, but I understand Jennifer Lawrence is the biggest thing now, and I love her too. She's awesome and she's a great actress, but Mystique, why is she like the biggest character of the universe of X-Men all of a sudden? I don't get it. Like in the original movie, she was like just a flunky of Magneto, and now she's like the most important character of the universe. I don't know how that happened. I mean, I guess it's Jennifer Lawrence's popularity, but it just doesn't make that much sense to me. And yeah, that's all I can really say. Overall, if I had to give a final verdict for this first official trailer to X-Men Apocalypse, I give it a solid 8.5 out of 10. It's a good, solid trailer. It's awesome. It's epic. I love the Akira sounds. I love the feeling that it has to Akira. It's very throwback to that movie. It also feels like the dawn of a new era, the death of the current X-Men cinematic universe. Things will blow up in this movie, I'm pretty sure. It looks like Apocalypse is here to pretty much destroy everything we know about the X-Men universe, and I can't wait to see what happens. Everybody else looks awesome. Will they be perfected in the final cut like Quicksilver was previously? We'll have to find out, because I really want to see what these new, mutants can really do. So let's just see what happens. But overall, I loved it. I like it. I personally can't wait to see this movie. And let me know what you personally think in the comment section below. What are your personal thoughts on the first official trailer? Your personal thoughts on Apocalypse? But that being said, follow me on Twitter and Instagram @Josh12. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. And I hope you guys enjoyed. And it's been Josh12.